Tonight on the Mac to the Future Go live cast, Disney Plus is out and actually has a lot of content. What a novel idea. Apple renews a lot of their TV Plus offerings because what else were they going to do? Apple also finally releases the formerly unicorn-like 16-inch MacBook Pro. All tonight on the Mac to the Future live cast. Go. And hello, everyone. Welcome again to another glorious, glorious Mac to the Future Go livecast. It is so great that everyone is here. We really, really do appreciate it. I am one of your humble hosts, Guy Searle, and Mimo Live is not doing well for me tonight. We will hopefully not have any of the issues that we did last week. And speaking of us, I am joined tonight, of course, by David Ginsburg and Warren Sklar. Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Good evening.
Good evening. So let's start with Dave. Dave, how are you doing tonight?
Doing well. Trying to stay warm. It's a little chilly out here down in the Midwest. Some Arctic cold. It's heading your way, so you go and you can enjoy it now.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. We have
it already.
We had a high like of the upper 30s, I think, today. It was not fun. And of course, that other voice you heard was Mr. Gotta Have the Latest Stuff, Warren Sklar.
No, that was the last guy. That was also the last guy you spoke to. Yeah, it's cold. It's I think we get hit about 25 today, so yeah, it's cold outside, baby.
So, all right. Well, we don't do the weather here. That's
we can.
Who is that's
No,
that's
the geekiest show ever.
Geekiest show ever. I was trying to remember who it was that does that every week. I always thought that was so weird, but okay. So I'll be hearing about that later, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yep. We have a couple of quick takes. Now, they're actually, I mean, I don't have much here in the show notes, and I'm kind of guessing that this is going to lead to a bigger discussion on other things.
We'll have no problem with these topics. Don't worry.
Yeah, we have enough stuff to talk about. Number one, I saw this online, and I was kind of weirded out by it. Is the Apple Card sexist, or can they blame the Al Gore rhythm? Hey, political humor.
That's a cold front that we feel is from the
yeah, and it's getting colder as we go. Apparently, the whatever the algorithm that the what is the name of the bank that Apple's using?
Goldman Sachs.
Yes, Goldman Sachs. Apparently, the women who are being offered the Apple Card with the exact same level of income and credit scores and all the rest of it they're being treated differently in the process of applying for the Apple Card than men with identical stuff. So and there's an inherent, what's a good word? Everyone seems to be trying to blame something other than Apple or Goldman Sachs for the issue. But at the end of the day, somebody approved the algorithm, and I am guessing that it was tested. So what are your guys' takes on it? I don't quite understand why this is still happening in 2019.
Well, I have a good story about it.
Okay, but go ahead.
I'll go. It's a quick story, but I don't work. My wife is the moneymaker. Mm-hmm. We have shared accounts. We share our assets and our money and everything like that. But I literally don't.
You have to cover your assets,
right? So I literally don't have an income, and she makes the money. I applied for the card, got approved for $10,000. She did not apply, so I don't know what she would have, but that would be a good experiment. Um, because they gave me a card and I literally don't have income, which is weird. So maybe it's true. Maybe they like men. I'm happy.
Well, who doesn't?
I'll go on the other side of the I'll go out on the other side of the spectrum. I applied for it, got a lower credit limit, and the wife got a lot more credit limit than I did, and also got lower annual percentage rate.
Well,
so I mean, the whole thing. No, yeah, a little bit, but we combine our assets. So I mean, we both have good income. So, I mean, I think Goldman Sachs was really on the defense with this whole thing. They're all saying that we don't discriminate. No, there's no way we do this. There's no discrimination at all. So, because I would go into the Wallet app and go into Apple Chat, and I says, hey, I want to be able to get a higher limit, and then a couple of days ago, you just get the automated responses. Oh, you have to wait 6 months. It isn't done. You aren't going to get it. So, interestingly enough, I tried again the other day, and then they took it. They says, well, we're going to review it for you, and we'll see where we are in 30 days, and we'll let you know. So all of a sudden now they're allowing the reviews of limits when people challenge it, no matter, because the account's the account's only been around 4 months, if that. Right. So,
but I have to assume
I would never I would never do that with a credit card. I mean I would just let things ride and see what happens. It's not that critical,
right.
But
we
I want to test it and see what happens.
We had credit history before we got married, Dave and I and everybody. So, I mean, I'm wondering if they're going back, they're going by your social security number. So they could be going back from the day you have credit, in your teens. Yeah. So, I mean, the argument about that people are saying doesn't tell the whole story. I mean, for all we know, Steve Wozniak's wife or girlfriend had, horrible credit and, before they got married. He's the one complaining. He's one of the guys complaining about it.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't tell the whole story. I personally believe Goldman Sachs. I don't think there's any.
Inherent. I don't see it.
Yeah. You open yourself up to a lot of crap if it can be proven that your algorithm or that your methods for determining people's credit worthiness is somehow influenced by gender. I mean,
but why? Even if it was it's not.
Why would they? Right?
Why? I mean, their goal is to get everybody the highest possible credit score as possible. They want the people spending on. So it doesn't make sense.
Does pink money spend not as much as blue money, or how does that work? As my head goes back and forth, and then explodes.
Women with credit cards. And men with computers with credit cards. That's how we are.
Yeah. Well, all I know is my wife has a degree in biology, was a Unix network administrator, and made a crap ton more money than I did until she retired early while I still work. So who's the real smart one here? Oh, it's still her. Okay. Let's move on to the next story. IBM says Mac users are happier. Sure.
Well, I actually posted this story out on my Twitter feed as well. It seems like every year this topic comes up a conversation. If anybody's familiar with Jamf, the Jamf Jamf Nation user conference is going on this week, which I would have been there, but that's a whole other story. But every year they always talk about Jamf manages 200,000 app Macs, and they came out with the IBM the Mac at IBM thing came up with how they manage the Macs. That they own that proprietary method of how they roll out Macs. But you know what? When all said and done, I agree. The fact that most users nowadays are much happier having a Mac over a PC, and it shows it in the cost of what the per machine cost is for the IT department. I mean, they'll get.
You're talking about the total cost of ownership.
Total cost of ownership, TCO, right? And they know they had like, I think, I can't remember the stats. I'm not quoting them exact, but they probably had like maybe 2 or 3 people supporting Macs for all those people, and the calls that were coming in to the help desk was like 3%. They had like 10 or 12 or 20 people supporting PCs. The calls that would come in about 30%. So they're getting more calls for PC problems than they were for Mac problems. The Macs are working. They're solid, and the employees are happy with them because they like using them. And PCs have just not been happy. That's 200,000 Macs that are roll out in a company like IBM. It just blows my mind.
IBM along with a lot of other companies are now
SAP,
they're doing the whole
Walmart. They're doing it.
They're doing the whole bring your own device in, and it's not just mobile devices.
They're doing that too, but IBM actually is not the bring your own device. They're supplying the device. So those 200,000 Macs are Macs that are purchased by IBM.
The other thing I read was that there is not currently a Fortune 100 company that doesn't have a bunch of Macs in it as well. So,
right.
Macs used to be
Fortune 500.
Yeah, shunted off to the side, and now it's like they're everywhere. It's not happening anymore. All right, last quick take. I love this. iOS Facebook app turns on your rear camera accidentally.
It's fixed. Scratch it off. They fixed it. Seriously.
I know, I know. It just with all of the crap that Facebook has been getting over the years, some of it deserved, some of it not. The fact that a bug like this, when you have the Facebook app open and you're scrolling through your feed or whatever, and then your rear camera, it's not your front camera, so it's not looking at you. Your rear camera comes on and video is being transmitted back to Facebook from your rear camera. That's assuming, of course,
in your pocket.
Yeah, that you allow Facebook access to your camera or your microphone, or because you can do all that in settings.
Right.
It just seems like, I almost hate to cut them some slack, but it just seems like every time you turn around, somebody is screaming, "Facebook bad Facebook, you bad Facebook, bad Facebook."
Stuff happens.
It's just, it happens. We don't trust Facebook. You don't trust Google. You don't trust Apple. You can just keep going on and on.
No, I trust everybody.
Bugs.
Passwords.
Listen,
1, 2, 3, 4. That's all you
bugs
need.
Bugs happen, and we're all carrying computers with microphones and cameras in our pocket.
Right.
So deal with that. That's how it is.
What could possibly go wrong there?
If you don't like it, go to a flip phone. But
go back to a flip phone.
I wouldn't be shocked if my phone started recording and sending secret information to the government. It could have. Oh, it's a bug. Oh, I'm sorry. Instagram had a bug where it was recording a conversation and sending your conversations to the government.
But oddly enough, just near foreign embassies. It's so weird.
Yeah, it could happen. Things happen.
All right, moving on. We have 2 main stories tonight. Which of you, if not both of you, have signed up for Disney Plus?
I did.
Did you sign up, Warren?
I signed up for the trial.
I watched one show through Undetermined Means, but yes, I did not sign up yet, but I got to watch one of the shows.
I signed up for it, and so far I have watched, because I actually have never seen this. I watched Frozen. That was the first thing I watched.
But did you let it go?
I did let it
go. Let it go.
Actually, I hate to admit it. I actually enjoyed it. I felt like a 13-year-old girl. It's so wonderful. Oh. And who would have guessed the plot twist? Right there at the end. Amazing. No, it was a
Frozen 2.
Yeah, the next one's coming out too.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to spend money in a movie theater for Frozen or Frozen 1. But if it comes on a streaming service that I'm already paying for, I'll go see it. I enjoyed it.
Watch The Mandalorian.
I did.
Be a man and watch that.
Right afterwards, just to kind of cleanse the palate.
Yes.
I watched The Mandalorian,
and that was good.
It was good. And and here's the thing. Now I know, Dave, you're a fan, and we've talked about this before. You're a fan of Star Trek Discovery, right?
Yes.
Star Trek Discovery does not feel like Star Trek to me. However, I'm not trying to get into that discussion. Okay, I'm not trying to go there. The Mandalorian to me felt like Star Wars.
Absolutely. Yep. It felt like
it
could spoil it because I haven't watched it.
Let's not do any spoilers.
We're not going to spoil it, but it'll
spoil for me. I haven't seen it.
When he walks into that room, and you know what room I'm talking about, Warren, if you've seen it, and those four guys are there.
Oh,
those four guys are there. No, that's not a spoiler. As soon as that scene kind of unfolded, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this feels like Star Wars.
Yeah. It's great. It's good. And,
it is good. And I'm looking forward to see what else they do with it. Now, if they keep it to, because the whole thing about The Mandalorian, this takes place after the fall of the Empire. So it is. It definitely is. One of the things that they talked about was he was offered a job, and they said, well, we'll give you... No, it's not spoilers. We're offering you X number of Imperial credits.
Han Solo shot first, by the way.
And he definitely shot first. And he was like, and the Mandalorian was like, I don't take Imperial credits. Nobody takes that anymore. Right. So this is taking place after Star Wars 6, whatever, Return of the Jedi. So it's between that and the next Star Wars movie. This is like right after the second Death Star has been destroyed and the Empire is in tatters. So there's lots of stuff going on, and
it's good.
It is good. If they kind of follow that theme, I would like to see more of kind of how these various planets and the galaxy hold itself together after a governing body like the Empire has fallen into disarray.
But they only released the one episode, and they're only releasing one at a time, which kind of sucks too.
Well, what do you think Apple did?
At least they gave you 3. Mandalorian is just the one. So
Frank wants to see the Picard show on CBS Access.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to that show, and I love Patrick Stewart, but I think he's a little old to do an action adventure show. So
it's Sylvester
we'll
Stallone
see.
And Rocky's and
Rocky 10.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is doing. Arnold Schwarzenegger is doing Terminator, and that happens. So.
Well, he's on Terminator.
Anyways, we're on dangerous territory with the spoilers.
We are, especially since I'm the oldest one here.
I'll say, my brand new co-host on In Touch with iOS, this guy called named Warren Slagar.
Who?
This guy Warren, that guy. Him and I had a discussion. The episode's going to come out probably tonight or tomorrow on Disney Plus, and really, I was impressed with the performance. And I at first, I know they had some outages that were going on during the day, but overall,
there was a lot of excitement.
There was. They got 10 million subscribers within a half a day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just think about that in itself. You also have in here the packaging. You got $6.99 a month for just the Disney Plus, or if you want to add Hulu and ESPN Plus, we'll have it on there too. I was on Mac Voices. That's coming out. Giving 2 plugs here for you, with Chuck and Kelly was on with me as well. And my first gift was Disney Plus. So I think it's a worthy service to take a look at. With all the stuff that's on there, and then the other story I saw was they had to make sure they tell people some of the old stuff that's out there was a little more risque and not as appropriate for today's standards. So be aware.
Are you talking about on Apple TV or in?
No, I'm talking about on Disney Plus. Like Steamboat Willie and some of the older cartoons.
Disney's putting up warnings up saying there's actually a warning in the beginning. At the time we didn't care, but now we do. So,
Yeah,
just letting you know.
It's not politically correct.
It's not like they're going to put out "Song of the South" or something like that. I mean, that's never even
They
been.
could.
Other than when it was originally in theaters, you can't buy "Song of the South" in any digital format, at least here in the United States. I think
some of those Little Rascals episodes about the Civil War and talking about slavery. Woo, those were some risque episodes. You'll never see those anywhere.
Yeah,
even Bugs Bunny. Some of the Bugs Bunnies
cut up.
Bad.
Yeah, even Bugs Bunny. Yeah.
Chuck Jones had.
It's a damn racist.
A character that, oh my God, it was so. I remember in the '60s watching that, going, "Holy crap! You've got to be kidding me!" And I freaking love that stuff. But
even at the time, it was great.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to put stuff like this in the context of when it was created and what the overall values and morals of the general population at the time that it was created. And it doesn't make it right. It's not that it makes it right, but it is what it is.
Did you see the Disney?
Go ahead. But you know what? The fact that you have this vast catalog of all this content from Disney from 80 years ago. I mean, 80, 90 years worth of content. I mean, it's unheard of. I mean, and a lot of this stuff is awesome. The movies, I mean, Marvel, Star Wars, I mean, everything, Pixar. I mean, you have all this content that you can go back and watch over and over again.
Toy Story
and the quality
4.
is.
Did I put Toy Story 4 on there?
No, but there's a Forky series.
Yeah, I did see that.
No, seriously,
Forky asked a question.
Did you see that? Yeah, it's basically a whole series about the spork.
Yeah, so, and he's talking to Ham and trying and basically asking him what money is, and the whole time Ham is trying to explain the concept of currency. He's like, "Wow, watch my arms go up and down. Look at my eyes go around in circles."
Did you see the deleted scene of the Avengers Endgame?
No,
or parts of it.
Is it on here?
It was on Disney. It was on Disney Plus. I don't know if it's still there because it went viral, and then it went on YouTube, and then it got taken out. But the scene was basically Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, when he snaps to go into does the snap. In Endgame, he goes to the same place. I don't know if you remember, but Thanos did when he did it. He was in this place where his daughter was there, Gamora was there, and they were talking like in this kind of void. Anyways, he does a snap. He's in the void. He's talking to this like woman, and the woman turns out to be his daughter as an adult, and the daughter's kind of comfort him,
let him know that it's okay.
That everything was okay. And supposedly it was emotional, but then you go to YouTube now, you can't find it because it was pulled everywhere. So
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it's pulled.
Okay,
but overall, I'm pleased with the service. I think it's gonna give Apple a run for its money. I mean, it definitely has a lot of great content that you just can't deny.
Yeah, Warner Brothers definitely did a lot of not only anti-German but anti-Japanese cartoons during World War II. And I mean, these were like some serious Asian stereotypes. But again, it was a product of their time. And people talk about, how the beloved Dr. Seuss. He did some of this stuff, some of these kinds of cartoons that were for the war effort back in the 40s that would be considered just horrible now. But people did the things that they had to do at the time. Anyway, let's get off that.
That's more light.
Besides the stuff for $6 that you get with Disney, as David was saying, you can also get Hulu, which is $6 on its own, and ESPN Plus for an additional $6. So for $13 a month, you get all of the stuff from Disney Plus, which is just a crap ton of content. You get we didn't even mention National Geographic. There's a bunch of stuff with National Geographic that's in there too.
Right.
Then you also get all of the stuff that's on Hulu, and all the stuff that's in ESPN Plus. So with a single subscription price of about $13, other than local content, local television stations, you've got a lot. There's a lot of stuff.
I think Hulu actually has the local stations.
They do.
I'm not mistaken.
Hulu
Do
Live.
they? Okay. Well, all right. Well, then you've got Disney Plus gives you for $13 pretty much everything that some high percentage of people would want from a streaming service, and cutting the cord.
Not the morning show.
Yeah, I'm
comedy,
still on the fence.
Comedy, the morning show.
It's a comedy, all right.
I watched 3 episodes today with the wife, and it's all right. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's
but there's no. The
it.
characters are all just so awful.
Well, I mean, it's mirroring. It's mirroring what happened to Matt Lauer, and he was awful. So,
I don't know. Well, it's not just him. It's all of the characters. Throw Jennifer Aniston's character is awful. Crap, what's her name?
Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon.
Without her spoon.
She's. I don't know what her deal is. All of the network people are just so bad, and
but I think
the other problem is a lot of the background characters. The background characters are so bland as to be invisible.
But I think they're going for that. I think they're giving you like a. I don't want to. Not that any of us know what it's really like behind the network.
This is like outrage culture. I can't see how you can sustain a show that's meant to just piss you off week after week. I life is too short to turn on TV and purposely watch a show that all it's going to do is just piss me off every week. Why?
Some people are mad at life and like to do that. What can I tell you?
Oh, okay.
I still
They're
like
welcome
it.
to it.
I think it's entertaining. So that the price was right, and it's okay.
Oh, he's saying the feed froze again. Yeah, it did.
No, that's just Frank. He always does that.
No, it did. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh yeah.
The feed is froze.
It said broadcast interrupted.
So for anyone, well, I mean, really all you need to do is just restart. I think restart your, if you restart Facebook, you're back up.
So you're saying if I restart
just somebody go over into.
Refresh the page.
Yeah, refresh page. Refresh the page. This happened last week too.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah, refresh.
Okay.
There you go.
Freezing every time I refresh. Yeah, and it just did. Okay, you know what? I can't worry about that. So
no, just keep going.
We're going to keep going, and if you guys are interested, you can just watch it when I post it later tonight. Let's go on to the last story for the evening.
Now it ended. Hold on, the stream ended.
Well, I'm still. You're
still recording.
I'm still recording. When is 16 like 17? When you have a MacBook Pro 16-inch that's released with really, 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 really thin bezels and a great big screen. And I don't, I've got here, it does not disappoint as long as you can afford it. And that seems to be kind of Apple's thing. I mean, the stuff they have is great as long as you've got enough money to buy it. Well, so
I had enough money to buy it when I bought my mid 2019 model for 15-inch, and then they discontinued the 15-inch. Now we're at the 16-inch.
The 15-inch is now gone. There is no 15-inch.
Yeah, it's replaced with the 16. It's the same price, Go. It's the 16-inch is the same price as a 15. In fact, it's a better
plus it adds a better deal with a 1 terabyte drive.
Yep, yeah. And the base model doubled the storage, so it's literally cheaper than last year's if you look at it that way.
Okay, and you've got a bigger screen. You have, I think it's the same generation Intel processor, just slightly faster. Is it the 10th gen?
I'm not sure.
Because the I thought I'd read that they were still using the 9th gen Intel processor. It's just faster, and of course you can get it with, I believe, up to 8 cores, or is it even more now?
Yeah, it's 8 cores.
Okay, so you can get a 9th or 10th generation Intel processor with up to 8 cores running at
core.
2.3 gigahertz, I think, something like that. I mean, some ridiculous amount of speed with some ridiculous amount of cores. And it's stock with 16 gigs of RAM and a 512
64
gigabyte 512 gig SSD, and you can put up to a 2 terabyte SSD in it. I think is the highest option.
Was it 3? I thought it was 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you can put in 4 2 terabyte sticks in it.
No, it's 8 terabyte, and it only adds $1,980 to the price of your base configuration.
Is that all?
Yeah, puts it up to $6,000 when you're all said and done. If you
all right. Well,
if you max it out.
But at that point, especially since your connection options make it so that you can connect up to multiple monitors, this is basically a workstation that you can put into a backpack and carry with you.
Yeah,
I mean this is
the base model's going to be fine for a lot of people now, especially.
Yeah,
the
base model is what, 4 cores?
Yeah. No, 6. 6
cores.
6. Yes. So the base is 6 cores, and it's
16 gigs, unupgradable. Of course.
Yeah, of course. It's 2.6.
You got to buy it when you need it.
6 core i7. It's got 16 gig of memory and a 512. So my 2018 15-inch has similar specs with the 256 gig drive, which was one of my biggest complaints. I wish I had gotten the bigger drive in it. So,
just put a different one in it.
Sure, I'll just pry that right over and do that.
I'll tell you what, the standout of it all is the keyboard is back to the way it should have been. Everybody complained. Apple also amazingly they amazingly listened, and the escape key is now its own key, so it's not on the touch bar anymore. And so you have that, because major complaints, Apple actually listened.
They didn't do everything. They people wanted, a lot of people like me actually don't even want the touch bar and want an option without it, and it's still there. I think the touch bar is useless. People didn't like the USB. There's no other ports than the USB-C, Thunderbolt ports. They kind of wanted some.
That's never going to change. You have to get over that.
Yeah, and then a few things that they mentioned is the FaceTime camera is still the same as it was before, which is
surprising.
Yeah, and then the other one is also a little weird that they did not put the AX Wi-Fi chip, the Wi-Fi 6 chip
Wi-Fi
in there.
6 chip, yeah.
Yeah, which is what the iPhone 11s have. And I kind of wish it did that too, because, if it did have it, I would have highly thought about upgrading my wireless to do that. So, I mean, I think they cut some corners to get the price the way it was, and I think those were definitely part of them.
Well, I think it's not so much to get. I think it's to get their margins the way they want them. It's I mean, Apple if they really wanted to. I mean, let's not kid ourselves here. Apple's margins are at close to 40% on all these computers that they sell, which you look at the rest of the market. Of course, they're all selling lookalike, Windows PCs, but their margins are like between 5 to 15%. It's nothing like the margins that Apple enjoys, and that's fine because that keeps Apple going. That allows them to spend a lot of money on research and development and to create some of these products that are world class. But it's not like Apple couldn't reduce these in price to be more competitive with similar type machines. They choose not to because they don't have to. Right?
They don't have to because their machines are better quality than the other ones. Just like, I'm sure Porsche could sell cars at a lower profit margin too. And they don't because they have a good brand name and they have a quality product, and people buy that and they'll spend money on it, and that's how capitalism works.
Yeah, no. That's fine. That's fine. But these are commodity products. And whether you're talking about cars or whether you're talking about computers, they are commodity products. And how much something is worth depends on the value that the people who buy it put on it. Mm-hmm. And Apple's products have enjoyed a high value as far as the people who are interested in buying it. And that's not going to change anytime soon. But Apple, if they really wanted to, could reduce the prices of these computers, and I think they would probably sell a lot more of them at a slightly lower margin. But that would make the stockholders kind of angry.
Hence, the stock is at a 52-week high when this was announced.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, they could have done that with the phone too, and when the iPhone 10 came out, everybody's like, nobody's going to pay $1,000 for a phone, but they do.
Well, it turned out a lot of people did.
So what happens is everybody complains, and then the reviewers come out, and then the people who buy the product start talking and say it's a great thing, and it's perfect, and then that's how that's why people spend more money on these products.
Yeah.
You could
and they hang.
You could buy it. You could buy a PC for the same price of the new MacBook Pro. I've seen them. I've seen gaming PCs that go up, to like $3,000. I mean, they're out there.
But these aren't gaming PCs. The thing with gaming PCs is they put a lot of stock and a lot of value in the GPU as compared to the CPU.
Right.
So you can get those. You can get all those pixels or pixels.
But these are supposedly pro machines for professionals.
Exactly.
Who need to edit, and there's more tools, software-wise too, on these computers to manipulate video and audio and photos than there is on a PC. Even though it might be able to handle it with the processor and the RAM, these are more geared towards those kind of people.
And as we were saying in the earlier part of the show, total cost of ownership,
right?
Is
but what
lower,
happened,
even with a more expensive machine.
Yeah, but the 2,200 people at IBM aren't, manipulating videos and stuff like that. They're just working. So what happened? They're probably just using Outlook and the internet, and Safari and stuff like that. 200,000 IBM employees. So what happened is, the professionals were using them, and people would look over their shoulder and it's like, wow, that's awesome, that's great. And then all of a sudden, college kids now have MacBook Airs and
millennials.
And the professionals started to complain, right? Because Apple's like, hey, we could sell this thing to more people than just creative professionals because they like them. They're nice.
Exactly.
And that's what they started to do. And then, kids started buying them, and then we started to buy them for our stuff. And Apple's like, well,
get off my lawn.
The hell off my
charge them what we can.
All right.
Anyways, the most important part is I am buying one. So that's
that's what matters.
Surprise.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's what matters right there.
I am selling my 15-inch Pro, and I am getting.
And on that note,
all right.
So next week I will be on that machine for sure.
Oh, yo.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we are gonna end the madness. Dave, if people wanted to get a hold of you, I know there must be some way that they can do it.
InTouchWithIOS.com with my brand new co-host Warren Sklar, and I'm also president of the Apple User Group in Chicago, suburban Chicago Apple Users at myscau.org, and on Twitter at DaveG65. Thanks for having me as always.
Sure. Warren, I understand that you're doing a new podcast.
You can now find me on In Touch with iOS with Mr. David Ginsburg, a weekly podcast where we talk specifically about, anyways. Yeah, so you could find me there. You can find me on Facebook, generally on the Mac to the Future group. If you want to talk tech, I do other Facebooking things other than that group, believe it or not, but I'm mostly there because I like it. Twitter, I do have a Twitter. It's W's Glora. I never check it, so I'll probably get scared if something alerted me that somebody did something to my timeline. And
wow, hey. Someone wrote something on Twitter.
What is that buzzing? I'm more likely to get like a Google group notification than a Twitter notification at this point. That's about it. And I like to thank Dave for having me do the show with him. It's a great opportunity, and I'm enjoying it. And of course, Guy, I enjoy doing this too.
Well, it's nice to be had. That's the way I look at it.
It is.
It's nice to be had.
It is.
If you would like to find out more about the stuff that I do the mymac.com podcast every single weekend with Mr. Gazmaz, Gary Malpass. We are coming up on our 500th show together, which is going to be episode 785. You can do the math yourself. It's so weird. On occasion, though I haven't done it lately, I also do Guy's Daily Drive. My email address is guy@mymac.com. You can help support the things I do over there on Patreon, patreon.com/MacParrot. Coffee, ko-fi/MacParrot. And also over there in the PayPals, paypal.me/ you guessed it, MacParrot. So thank you all so very, very much for joining us this evening. I don't know what the deal is with Mimo and Facebook, why it keeps dropping out. I need to send Oliver an email and find out if it's something that I'm doing or something that Facebook is doing. Hard to say.
We still have a
Dave
show.
Dave and I have our money on something. We're just not going to tell you which one.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's on me.
That's right.
I'm guessing it's me. I have something wrong with me.
Another mixer
wrong with me. Yeah, that's what I need. I need yet
another mixer microphone. Yeah.
Well,
it's not going to work unless you have. It's not going to work unless you have a microphone pointing at every direction of your head. That's what you need to do. Next time you're on, I just want like a microphone pointing down.
Well, I've got a second. I got an open slot on my preamp, and I've got an open slot on my compressor, and I have 3 open slots on my audio interface.
Can you get it?
It's like a boom. It's like a boom.
Rumble.
So we are going to wrap it up for the evening. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us. Catch us next week. 8:00. Mac to the Future Go livecast. Good night, everybody.
See you.
Say good night.